I'm going to show you how to move your instant virtual cluster from Airwave management to Aruba Central management. So the first thing I'm going to show you is, let's just take a look at our instant cluster that we have today. And you can see that it is being managed by Airwave. So it shows you right down here that it's managed by Airwave, and it even says down the bottom, Airwave status connected. If I look at my Airwave server, I can see that my 2 access points are up and being fully managed by Airwave. But what I want to do is I want to move them to Aruba Central. So what I'm going to do in Aruba Central is first go into your homepage, your account homepage. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to go into your device inventory. And you want to add in the IP or the access point that is the virtual cluster. So I already added it in. I would like to remove it and add it in again just to show you how to do it, but you can't. Once it's in Central here, there's really no way to go in and delete it. The only way it gets deleted out of your account is if you call the Central team and have them delete it, or if it's unsubscribed and someone else adds it into their Central account, it will take it out of yours. So what you would do is you would click on Add Device, and you would put in the serial and the MAC address, the serial number and the MAC address of the cluster leader. So when you do that, and then you click down the bottom here, in green it would say Device Added Successfully. So that is the first step. Now, I wouldn't add these into Central until I am ready to move. Because if you add them into Central and for some reason the virtual cluster gets rebooted, it may join Central and not join Airwave. So I would not add them in until you're ready to move to Central. So especially if you have a whole bunch of clusters and you're only planning on moving, a few a day, or don't add them in until it's time. So what we're going to do is we first have them added in. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to Account Home. I'm going to click on my subscription assignments, and I am now going to assign a subscription to them. I have auto subscribe off. If you have on, then it may automatically just add a subscription to them. So let me update this. And now they're subscribed. So the next step is to go into your instant, and you can still see I'm still managed by Airwave. And you want to go into your system. You want to go to admin, and you want to remove all of the Airwave settings. And then click OK. And it's 8:27, so let's see how long this takes. Sometimes it's really fast, and then sometimes it takes up to 5 minutes. So it still says Airwave managed. So now you can see it says Aruba Central managed. Down here it says Aruba Central status not connected because I'm really not configuring it. It's not in any groups yet. So you can see it's 8:28, so that really didn't take any time at all to get into Aruba Central. If I clicked on Airwave, Airwave's still going to show that these access points are up for a while until that time's out. So what we want to do now is we want to go into Aruba Central, and if I go back to Account Home, and then we want to get into our network operations. And you'll see now that Instant thinks it's being managed by Central. Sometimes it takes a little bit for the devices to show up in Central. So you can see right now I don't have any access points. They're not showing up yet. And they will pop up in over here in organization when it comes in. So let's just give it some time. Like I said, it could take Could take another 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video, and then when they show up, I'll start the video again, and then we'll do a time check. So of course, as soon as I pause the video, you can see it's 8:30, and the first one showed up right after I paused the video and I refreshed. So what I want to do is I want to go into organization, and I don't have this assigned to any group yet. So that's what you want. Make sure that you don't assign it to any groups. When we were back in the device inventory, you can assign it to a group at that time, but we do not want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the virtual cluster. When we do, you see that this appears, import configuration to a new group. So if you looked at my old instant, I had 2 SSIDs. So Acme Corp and Acme Guest. And we don't want to lose any of our configuration, of course. So let's click on import configuration to a new group. I'm going to call it Airwave to Central, my group. I'm going to put a password on. And this password that you're creating is also used once all the devices are in the group. This is the password that you will use if you SSH into the controllers or anything. So I'm going to click import config. And now my configuration should all be right here. So if we click on this config, you can see my SSID is carried over. So that's really good. So everything's working in here. That was how fast you can import. I think we started this probably like 5 minutes ago. So it only took about 5 minutes. Now, a warning to you is I only have 2 access points in this cluster. So, I have clients that might have, 100 access points in a cluster. So what we want to do is when you only really have to put in the first, when you go into your device inventory, like in the beginning of this video, you only have to add in your first AP, the one that is the virtual cluster leader. All the other access points will then pull in to Central, but once they come into the inventory, you're going to have to go in and you're going to have to add subscriptions to them. So they're not going to be subscribed unless if you have auto subscribe on. So that could be a little bit of a gotcha. So just make sure that after you import your virtual cluster and all the other access points come in underneath, that you go back in and you subscribe all of them.